funky.
Exhibit 55 through Exhibit 77. Clothing worn by the victims. During the preparations for this video, I noticed this is a total of 23 exhibits. This means, this photo file, together with its photo report, contains the information for 23 sets of clothes worn by the victims. To try to find the remaining 3 sets of clothing, worn by the victims, I went to Investigator Detective Greenstein's Medical Examiner Supplemental Report. This report lists the 26 alleged victims, and the alleged suspect Adam Lanza. Behind each person's name, it lists the exhibit number or numbers, for the items seized from that person. Upon inspection, we do see the exhibit numbers 55 through 77. As well do we see the exhibit numbers, 101 through 126, showing listed behind most of the alleged victims. For the purpose of this particular video, I, for now, will not go in on the exhibit numbers 83, A through P and exhibit number 100 listed behind the alleged suspect's name. In multiple chain of evidence, transport and custody reports, we find exhibits 101 through exhibit 126. Upon inspection, most exhibit numbers stand for the item's copper lead fragments. Behind exhibit 104, there is, besides the copper lead fragments, also a mentioning of 1 vial with 2 teeth. Behind exhibit number 116, besides the mentioning of copper lead fragments, seized during autopsy of me number 12 to 17606, Rousseau, there is also mentioning of 1 vial with teeth, and 1 vial with clothing. And behind number, exhibit 126, besides the copper lead fragments, it also mentions a printed label of Mary Sherlock. A black handwritten noted ME number 12 to 17609. Not exactly sure what to make from this, but this ME number 12 to 17609. This last ME number behind Sherlock's ME number, is Davino's ME number. Possible, this was a handwritten note between Sherlock and Davino? Back to evidence item 116, with the corresponding ME number 12 to 17606, and the mentioning of the vial with clothing. ME number 12 to 17606, Rousseau, exhibit number 116, copper lead fragments seized during autopsy of ME number 12 to 17606, Rousseau. 1 vial with teeth, 1 vial with clothing. Now, back to Investigator Detective Greenstein's Medical Examiner Supplemental Report. 12 to 17606, Rousseau, exhibit number 59 and exhibit number 116. So, exhibit 59 is already part of the 23 exhibits. The exhibit 55 through exhibit 77. Clothing worn by victims. The 26 victims, in Greenstein's Medical Examiner Supplemental Report, are alphabetically listed. Please bear with me. I will be going through this list, while filling in all the names. This is to show which 3 victims their clothes were not seized from the medical examiner's office. And please still bear with me after that, I still have more information to share. Charlotte Bacon. Exhibit 70. Clothing seized from medical examiner's office. Daniel Barden. Exhibit 72. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Rachel Davino. Exhibit 68. Clothing seized from medical examiner's office. Mark the next one. I will come back at. Olivia Engel. No clothing seized from medical examiner's office. Josephine Gay. Exhibit 73. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Anna M. Marquez Green. Exhibit 62. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Dylan Hockley. Exhibit 64. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Dawn Hochsprung. Exhibit 71. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Madeline Shu. Exhibit 56. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Catherine V. Hubbard. Exhibit 76. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Chase Kowalski. Exhibit 60. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Jesse Lewis. Exhibit 67. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. James Mattioli. Exhibit 74. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Grace McDonnell. Exhibit 63. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Anne-Marie Murphy. Exhibit 65. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Emily Parker. Exhibit 75. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Jack Pinto. Exhibit 77. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Mark the next one. I will come back at. Noah Posner. No clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. And no other evidence either. Caroline Privity. Exhibit 69. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Jessica Ricos. Exhibit 66. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. AVL Richmond. Exhibit 61. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Lauren Rousseau. Exhibit 59. Clothes worn by victim. Seized at the medical office. Mary Sherlock. Exhibit 58. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Victoria Soto. Exhibit 55. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Mark the next one. I will come back at. Benjamin Wheeler. No clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Allison N. Wyatt. Exhibit 57. Clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. With the ability to identify each alleged victim, we now have knowledge of whose clothes were not seized from the medical examiner's office. Olivia Engel. No clothing seized from medical examiner's office. Noah Posner. No clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. And no other evidence either. Benjamin Wheeler. No clothing worn by victim seized from medical examiner's office. Going to this evidence report by Wdmc Detective Walkley. We can see Exhibit 300 and Exhibit 301 are the child victim's clothes that were seized from Danbury Hospital. It was rumored that the two child victims, who were transported to Danbury Hospital, were Olivia Engel and Benjamin Wheeler. I was not able to find the clothes that were worn by victim Noah Posner. What did happen to his clothes? If anyone is able and willing to explain and answer this question, that would be very nice.